You're packed, you've locked the front door, and right before you leave, you look back. Suddenly, your trip comes with a tiny wave of guilt. You wonder if that drooping plant in the corner will be alive when you return. Most of us assume that if a plant dies while we're away, it's because houseplants are naturally fragile, or they just can't handle being left alone. But that's not what kills them. They die because we prepare them for the wrong problems. In our panic to help, we usually end up aggressively drowning the soil or letting them bake in the sun. To keep plants alive for weeks without you, we need to put their environment into low power mode. This means artificially stabilizing their light, humidity, and water so they consume fewer resources. Setting this up only requires a few basic household items. You'll need pruning shears, a water bowl, a spool of cotton string, a shallow pebble tray, and an empty clear plastic bottle. Prioritizing environmental stability over active nurturing is the most reliable way to ensure your plants survive weeks of absence. Step 1 is reducing the plant's physical footprint. Before you pack, take your shears and trim away any dead leaves or excessive, leggy growth. This reduces the plant's overall workload. With less total foliage to support, the plant requires significantly less water and energy to maintain its health. Next, we have to adjust the lighting. It is common to leave plants in bright, direct sunlight, thinking the extra energy will help them survive. But more sunlight directly accelerates evaporation, causing the soil to dry out much faster than normal. So physically pick your plants up and move them away from those bright windowsills. Find a spot in the room that offers softer, indirect light. Lowering the light exposure is the specific trigger that puts the plant into low power mode. It intentionally slows their growth rate, meaning they will demand drastically fewer resources while you are gone. Step 2 is managing humidity. Instead of leaving your plants scattered around the house, group them close together in one localized area. As plants naturally release moisture through their leaves, a tight cluster traps that transpiration. This slightly raises the humidity immediately around them, which in turn slows down the evaporation of their soil. To reinforce this effect, place these clustered pots onto a shallow tray filled with pebbles and pour in a small amount of water. The critical rule here is that the water level must remain strictly below the tops of the pebbles. It should never touch the bottom of the pots or the soil directly. This diagram illustrates how the tray works. The ambient room temperature causes the water in the tray to evaporate upward. This continuously feeds a contained dome of humidity right around the leaves. Step 3 is hydration. If your trip is short, say 3 to 5 days, administer a single, deep, thorough watering right before you leave. Looking at this comparison, you must let the water drain. Do not leave the pot sitting in a flooded saucer, as shown on the left. Allowing roots to sit in a pool of stagnant moisture will cause them to rot before you return. But if your trip stretches beyond 2 weeks, that single deep watering is going to fail. The soil will inevitably dry out. For longer absences, you need a passive wicking system. You can build this using just a bowl of water and your cotton string. This diagram shows the setup: an elevated water bowl next to the plant. A cotton string connects the water to the soil. Through capillary action, the water travels up the string. The soil naturally pulls exactly the moisture it needs without ever flooding the roots. If you have larger individual plants, you can use an alternative bottle drip system. This involves taking a water-filled plastic bottle and inverting it directly into the soil to slowly release moisture over time. Whichever system you choose, there is a crucial final step. You must test it. Set up your wicking string or bottle several days before your actual departure. Testing is mandatory because it is the only way to verify the flow rate. You need to ensure the capillary action is maintaining a steady moisture level, rather than turning the entire pot into waterlogged mud. True hydration during a long absence is entirely about maintaining a steady, controlled drip of moisture, rather than flooding the plant with a maximum volume of water on day 1. This image shows the fully executed low-power mode setup. The plants are freshly pruned, tightly clustered in indirect light, and continuously fed by a passive wicking system. The biological goal of the system is not to produce rapid, perfect growth while you are away. It is designed to guarantee absolute environmental stability. So instead of fearing a disaster when you walk through the door, you can return to a quiet, steady, and unchanged green space. Once you implement the basic physics and biology of plant care, the travel anxiety disappears. You know your plants are fully equipped to outlast your absence.